This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLisio and Kenny Bergamy.
As you can see, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, both here in the studio and probably around your home. Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor. As you see, Kenny is off today. Nonetheless, our gift to you this week, the gift of agriculture. Coming up, the Monitor profiles a group of young ladies who affectionately call themselves Chicks in Chaps. Their emphasis on family and team and the countless hours of preparation that goes into one of their performances. Also in the program, it began as just a healthy alternative to your average dog treat. But 3 years later, Southern Paws is now a national brand and growing by the day. We'll sit down with the company's owner and hear how Georgia Grown has led to her success. And then later, a conversation with the reigning GFB Young Farmer Discussion Meet champion, Will Godowns, his passion for agriculture and how this competition has changed his life for the better. These stories and so much more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor. It's officially holiday season. That means dinner tables around the state will be filled with all the staples like turkey, sweet potatoes, and of course, pecan pie. And with Georgia being the top pecan producing state in the country, each harvest is highly anticipated. Damon Jones traveled to One Middle Georgia Farm and gives you an update on this year's crop.
While Georgia might be known as the peach state, its signature crop might just be the pecan. In fact, the state is responsible for more than 75 million pounds of this tree nut each and every year. And so far, despite a little anxiety, harvest season is right on schedule for 2017.
Yeah, harvest is going pretty good. Irma scared us a lot, but I really can't complain at this point. We've been over most orchards one time and have been pleased, and we're going over them a second time, hopefully be done around Christmas.
While things are running smoothly at the moment, this season was anything but worry-free, as Mother Nature decided to throw a few obstacles along the way.
I'd say my biggest challenge was there was a lot more rainfall during the summer, a lot of disease, and we had to keep the sprayers rolling. But I would just say the cleanup from Irma, it was me, one employee with 2 chainsaws and a loader tractor.
Now, despite some of the concerns, this year's crop is looking like another strong one for growers in Middle Georgia.
Yield on desirables was awesome. The prices were up. They dipped a little bit in the last 2 weeks. Stewarts were off. They were real heavy last year. And some varieties did have a lot knocked off from Irma in certain areas of the areas that I farm.
And that's not only good news for consumers here in the States, but also for pecan lovers all over the world, as the demand for this product continues to be strong internationally.
Typically a large nut will go straight to Savannah, which most likely winds up in China. But just because it stays in the States doesn't mean it's substandard or low price. I'd probably say 70% of what I farm winds up in Savannah Port, I'd like to think.
And that's for good reason, as the conditions here in the state allow growers to produce some of the highest quality nuts in the world.
I'd like to think Georgia probably grows the best quality pecans. I mean, we have adequate water. We have good farmers to take care of them. We have good dirt. It's not too sandy up here where we are. But I'd like to think we all grow a pretty good crop in Middle Georgia and South Georgia.
It's a fact that Anderson and all the growers in Georgia take great pride in, as they get to show off one of the state's top commodities.
I take a lot of pride just because we're #1. We're known for Georgia pecans, poultry, peanuts, and it gives me a sense of pride to say that it's a Georgia pecan and not from Arizona or South Africa or something. I just love to say that I grow pecans in Georgia.
Reporting from Houston County, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, Damon, thank you very much. We'll ask any farm kid, and I'm sure they will tell you that growing up around horses teaches life lessons like responsibility for something other than yourself. The Monitor's John Holcomb reports on a horse drill team in Noonan that's not only teaching a group of teenage girls that same life lesson, but also the importance of team and family.
On a Friday night, most teenage girls will be at a football game or hanging out with their friends, but these are not your average girls. These are the girls known as the Chicks and Chaps, and they are spending their Friday night with their teammates and their trusty steeds, working hard to make sure their routines are perfect for their upcoming drill competitions.
In the competitions, the judges are looking for certain maneuvers, and the more difficult, the higher the point value. Adding flags adds, it's called degree of difficulty. So, you know, maneuvers that are faster and, you know, closer, like the, you know, the boxes that they do where they run across each other. Those are a higher point value and get you more points.
The routines are mainly designed by the coach, but Mason, which is the team's captain, also helps think up some of them.
I've been riding drill for like 8 or 9 years, so I've just kind of got a lot of stuff in my head, and we've had some really good coaches over the years that we're really good at like putting stuff together, and I don't know, I can just kind of like think about like where each person will go and how it'll flow, and it usually works.
As the old saying goes, practice makes perfect. And here, doing these often complex routines, that is true. But there is also something else that helps these girls, and that is working together.
The thing about drill is it's like a team thing. Like, you're not the only one in the arena, and so you can help each other out, and like if there is a mistake or whatever, you can work together to fix it.
Mason, being the captain, sometimes even does some extra steps to help make sure everyone has the routine down.
One thing I did a couple practices ago before our previous competition was I like drew out the routine and like color coded it so everyone knew like right where they were supposed to go, and that really helped them.
Of course, none of this would be possible without the parents that play a big part in this team's livelihood. They bring them to and from practice and even help get the arena ready, not to mention the financial resources they have to give.
The parents have a huge investment. It's not just an investment for the kids. They can't just drop them off generally. They're hauling a horse. Some of them are coming quite a distance. We practice generally twice a week on Friday nights and Sunday evenings for a couple hours.
One of the parents even had to step up and be the coach for the team.
After their kids graduated and they moved on and, you know, weren't going to coach anymore, so I kind of picked it up from then. Been doing it this is the second year that I've been coaching.
The time and resource commitment doesn't matter to the parents, especially after seeing what their girls gain from this, like teaching them responsibility and even helping them physically.
They're more on top of taking care of their horses, which is great. They're grooming them even more often and riding them even more often. And just in general, their overall health, they know that they have to be in fit condition to do this, so they take it seriously.
Reporting in Newnan for the Georgia Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
All right, John, very nice job. Well, coming up next, all natural pet treats using nothing but locally grown products. That's the business model for Georgia's own Southern Paws, why it all started, and how it's led to national distribution.
Thousands of service members leave the armed forces each year, and many of them are seeking new career opportunities. The United States Department of Agriculture is stepping up to help.
Farming and agriculture is a lifestyle, just like military's lifestyle.
There are multiple programs that assist beginning farmers and ranchers not only getting started, but to grow and thrive, manage their risk, and help build critical stewardship of their resources. There's both a huge need and a huge opportunity for the next generation of farmers and ranchers to come and be a part of growing the future. Veterans in particular have the skill set and work ethic that is directly at the heart of what it takes to make a good farmer or rancher. Farmers like Navy veteran Lenny Miles Jr. carry the responsibility for growing food, which he does on his family farm with his father and grandfather. If you're interested in owning or operating a farm, Lenny has this to say.
It's endless possibilities of where you could go as a career in agriculture or farming, and you just feel responsible to present good product for consumers and compelled to take care of the land.
Farmers and ranchers understand that the land is a resource to be protected and enhanced. Lenny uses farm loans from USDA's Farm Service Agency and participates in the Conservation Reserve Program and the Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program to improve wildlife habitat and erosion control.
So with the CRP and CREP programs, we take traditionally unproductive land out of farming production and put into conservation. It's important to be a good steward of land and be a responsible farmer.
But Lenny isn't alone. Other farmers have taken up the reins as farmers. They come from occupations you wouldn't necessarily expect. Tom and Anita Roberson both served in the Army a combined 34 years in the medical field. Tom worked in private practice for several years before leaving the medical field for a new kind of field. As beginning farmers, the couple then worked on their passion in farming, and not too long after, they were operating their own farm.
If you want to get into farming, the only excuse that you have is yourself, because the resources are there. The government, USDA, has plenty of resources.
Those resources help farmers with getting started and operating the day-to-day. But Anita stresses you have to be ready before you start.
The first thing you want to do is have a business plan. You have to have a starting point and know what you want to shoot for.
Farmers and ranchers are part of the small business fabric of America. The USDA has teamed up with SCORE, a nonprofit resource partner of the Small Business Administration, to connect farmers, ranchers, and other small business owners with free business mentors.
The Small Farm Outreach Program, they have a wonderful beginning farmer and rancher program. Well, they'll take you through all the steps.
Those mentors can help you with your business plan and establish good foundations for your business. There's a place for you in agriculture, and USDA is here to be your partner in this exciting new adventure. Some have already answered the call. Come talk to us today.
Speaking of small business, inspired by the farm-to-table concept, Shannon Jones set out to create an all-natural, organic, gluten-free pet treat while at the same time promoting local farmers and other Georgia businesses. Mission accomplished. In just 3 years, Southern Paws has gone from backroom kitchen operation to national distributor. According to Shannon, none of it would have been possible without the support of her family and, most importantly, her fur babies.
They're almost human. They're like children. I have one son, and he's grown up, so maybe I'm feeling some need for some more babies to take care of. But they are very intelligent, very helpful, and always there when you need them. I was adopted actually as a baby by a wonderful mom and dad, and just happened to be on a farm that I was raised. I'm familiar with going to the field for harvest season and planting season, and riding in the tractor all night to, you know, get the crop in or get it in the ground. And so yes, I've lived there. I actually live on a farm now, live on family land, and my whole family's in farming, including my son, who is pursuing his agribusiness degree also. So so with that, I became very passionate about supporting locally grown products and that type of thing. So then my little Bella had a seizure one year, and out of the blue. So I started researching what she was eating, and I saw that there were a lot of things that maybe I shouldn't be feeding her. So I started looking at local ingredients, looking at different treat recipes, and just to kind of get an idea. And I was like, you know, I could make something better than this, because I can make it all, you know, locally made products. I was familiar with Georgia grown. The idea for the company was birthed, especially since the pet industry is a very big industry. I did look at the business side also. But the biggest thing I wanted to do was to develop a treat that dogs could eat and people could have confidence in, but also to support local producers and farms and artisans. And that partnership is a very big passion of mine, is to partner with different, like our honey company is from South Georgia. We have, you know, Georgia Grinders peanut butter from North Georgia. We have farm, you know, fresh chicken that comes fresh from a farm. So, you know, those are some of the ingredients we use, and that's what we're passionate about. So we can take care of people's fur babies and they can feel confident in the product, but we can also support our local economy. I'm going to tell you, the first time that my products went on the shelf, I was petrified. The first time I did a show, I did the Cherry Blossom Festival, and there were dogs, and I was petrified that they wouldn't like the treats. So it was very, but I tried them out on Bella mainly and some of her friends, and we got some good response. Anything that Bella remotely turned her nose up at, we did not use. So, because labs are generally easy to please. So after that, we've made some modifications over the last 2 years, but we have we get numerous emails, Facebook posts, Instagram posts, instant messages from people that say their dogs will not eat anything else or that they absolutely love them. As I said, I was adopted by a family that couldn't have been better. If I had a mail order parents or whatever, I couldn't have gotten better. And my dad and my mom both have always been very supportive. And my mom's always had kind of an entrepreneurial spirit. My dad too, but my mom was more of a risk taker, or, you know, go for your dreams, don't let anything stop you. And I would run anything by her before I did anything. And she let me know if she didn't think it was a good idea, or she let me know. But with this, from when I ran it by her, I think she went and did her research. She's a very intelligent woman. And she did her research, and she called me back and she said, you know what, I think you're onto something. So she was my biggest cheerleader. And just last week, we lost her to cancer, very short illness there. And so that's why I'm so emotional. But normally I would have to give the full report after a show. And what were the sales? What was this? What was that? You know? And so I really miss her at this point, but you know, I'd like to think I can still talk to her, and she'll still send things my way. So, but yes, she was a big influence. My dad still is a big supporter, and my husband, when he got on board, he is absolutely wonderful as well. Georgia Grown gave us our start. We're in a lot of Georgia Grown, some of the markets and things like that. Some of the big farms in their stores and any place that sells locally grown. But we're even in an antique store in Alexandria, Virginia, in Old Town, and you know, we're just dedicated to keeping it real and keeping it local.
Incredible lady, and we certainly wish Shannon the best with Southern Paws. When we come back, the ability to analyze the issues and decide on what solutions best meet their needs. That's the basic foundation of being a discussion meet champion. Traits Will Go-Downs hopes to capitalize on at the national competition next month in Nashville. His story when the Georgia Farm Monitor continues.
It's not your typical pharmacy, spelled with an F and not a PH, but also the locale and the medicine are different. UT Extension agent Elizabeth Elizondo is shopping at the Boone Street Farmers Market in Jonesboro, loading up on fruits and vegetables. And here's the destination for that healthy produce, the Johnson City Community Health Center. UT Extension teaches cooking classes here as part of the Appalachian Pharmacy program.
In those cooking classes, we talk about just basic nutrition, about eating more fruits and vegetables. We'll talk about food safety and just kind of how to preserve their food to make it last through the winter time.
Class cookers slice and dice produce, learning to make stir-fry and sautéed dishes. But also people here are encouraged to visit farmers markets, and many say that's where they find good bargains.
I'm able to get vegetables there that I like, that I can't get at the grocery store, such as small potatoes instead of large, small onions instead of large.
As part of the pharmacy program, families and elderly people are prescribed vouchers they can cash in for healthy foods. A family of 4 can receive up to $28 a week to spend at a farmer's market.
So it's framed as a prescription. And so they're literally prescribed fruits and vegetables by their care provider, usually a nurse in this case. And it comes in the form of these coupon booklets, so they get a month at a time.
Consider too the economic impact. People are spending their vouchers at Washington County farmers markets. More than $50,000 in USDA grant money, all going for locally grown produce. Dietitian Crystal West likes the nutritional help this program provides. She says often the elderly don't eat well and their health can suffer.
Yes, they don't eat as much. Oftentimes they'll lose their appetite. They may be dehydrated and they don't know it, depending on different medications they're on. They may also not be absorbing a lot of nutrients that we do before we get in those age ranges.
By the end of class, it's tasty reward time. The old saying about an apple a day keeping the doctor away really does apply here. And regardless of how you spell pharmacy, it's a location we can visit to get healthier. This is Charles Denny reporting.
Every year, Georgia Farm Bureau holds its Young Farmer Discussion Meet contest. The purpose of the competition? To develop communication skills for the ag industry's future leaders. Will Godowns of Pike County is the 2017 GFB Discussion Meet winner, and he recently shared with the Monitor his love for agriculture and the benefits he's gained from the Discussion Meet competition.
Agriculture is probably one of my biggest passions, and educating other people about agriculture is what I really like to do. My dad managed cattle operations as I was growing up. My granddaddy was a county extension agent for 40 years, so I've been through a lot of different facets of the agriculture industry. I was active in 4-H and FFA coming up. We didn't have FFA in Pike County till I was in my 10th grade year. We chartered a chapter at the high school. Was president of it all 3 years till I graduated. Competed in the discussion meet, FFA discussion meet sponsored by Farm Bureau is where I really got hooked into Farm Bureau Young Farmers. But you know, through all that I showed 4-H livestock projects, all beef cattle projects. You know, have had some cows of my own, off and on through that time. I've got some now. I live here on the farm, Caldwell Farms and Land, where we manage a 200 cow-calf operation. What it means for me is a way of life and a good living and an honest day's work is what agriculture means to me. I've grown up in it. I've seen my family and other families go through hardships. This place here was hit by a tornado 4 years ago, and we had to rebuild it. All the fences and the barns and everything, and it brings out the best in people to me. You know, you can't farm without faith, and most agricultural people have a strong faith to be able to make it day to day. It is a great honor because this year in particularly, I felt with some of the strongest discussions I've encountered in that 10 or 11 years. And it's just a great time to come together with other people my age doing similar things in their operations across the state and see how they do things a little differently in the discussion meet. You know, I'm very, very pleased that I was able to win, and I look forward to going on and representing Georgia at the national level with the discussion meet, and I hope I can represent us well there. As far as what it means, it's just a great time to see how everybody's operation is affected differently by the same topic, and I think it's a good opportunity for young people to get involved with Georgia Farm Bureau Young Farmers and to hone in their skills on how to communicate with others. It teaches you a lot about how to deal with other people when topics come up on a discussion, on a board or a committee that nobody wants to talk about. Well, it's given me the confidence to be able to just speak up and start the conversation, you know, and get that ball running and just say, hey, these are my ideas, or this is my opinion, and not worry about whether my feelings are going to be hurt if they shut it down or not. There's nothing else I'd rather do. I can't picture myself doing anything else other than being involved in agriculture, because at the end of the day, you can look back and see what you've done or what's gone wrong or what you got to do tomorrow, but you know that it's up to you and the good Lord is how it's going to turn out, and it's just a good, honest way of life.
And of course, the Monitor will be with Will every step of the way in Nashville. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Take care, everybody. We will see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.